everyone, this is your sewing teacher Veronica, and today we will talk about 9 sewing mistakes that beginners make. And I'm very excited to share it with you because I give classes online and offline in the city where I live, and most of the classes are for beginners. And all these mistakes I see every day, and that's totally normal that we make them, but I want to explain to you what things you have to avoid to have your motivation still to continue sewing, have good results, and don't spend a lot of money. Okay, let's get started. Mistake number 1. Begin with very difficult projects or projects that are not for your level. If you're a very beginner, of course you have to start with easy projects, because with difficult projects, first of all, it's a very big project and it takes a lot of time, and maybe you're not a very patient person and you can lose motivation in the middle of the project. Second, you need to know some specific things. Yes, with anything we learn, we start with something simple and step by step we make it harder, and when you have experience, it's easier for you. The same with sewing. I know for beginners it's hard to understand. Is it hard to make this, or is okay to make this for me? So if you're a beginner, you most likely work with patterns that you buy somewhere, and a lot of stores, online stores, they have a system telling you what level of difficulty it is. So pay attention to this, choose easy projects and finish them. By the way, on my website I have an article what can be quite simple projects for beginners. The link to this article will be in description. Mistake number 2. If we talk about beginners, most likely, as I told you, you will work with patterns that you buy. And mistake number 2 is do not read instruction to this pattern. Some of the patterns have horrible instruction, actually most of them. Some of the companies, they have very nice instruction. By the way, it's really good advice if you start to work with this company. For example, I like a lot Wiki Sews patterns. They have perfect instructions for beginners. It's like they have a lot of text and picture to every step that you have to make. I advise you to start with these patterns. I really like how they make it. Okay, but when you read an instruction, first of all, you understand how many meters of the material you need for your project. You understand what type of material you will use, because they say you what fabric fits this model, this design, what fabric doesn't fit. You also understand what steps you have to make to start. Yes, so first you cut it out, second you pin it together, and then you start with this detail. So you will have an understanding what is my next step. Yes, even if this pattern is not very detailed, you still try to read it and understand it. It's very helpful if you learn sewing, because when you have completely no instruction, you feel lost and you're like, oh my god, what I'm going to do with these pieces? I have no idea how to stitch it together. So please try to read instruction for your pattern. Mistake number 3. To buy the size of the pattern the same that you buy in a store with clothes. It's not working like that. It's very important that every time you buy a pattern, you measure yourself, you go to the size chart on this website, you check what size you have, and you buy the size that you have according to this size chart. Because first of all, there are many different systems in different countries of sizes. Okay, so if this company is located somewhere in Europe or in USA, it can be different systems. Second, often patterns give you more sizes, so not only S, M, L, but in between. That helps to make it fit better, and the result will be much better. So don't make these mistakes. Every time you go on the website, every new website or old website that you used already, you have to check your size, measure yourself. You will need to measure your bust, hips and waist, and according to these measurements you choose your size. Okay, that's very important. By the way, I have my Instagram and TikTok. You can follow them. The link is in description, where I post at least twice a week sewing tips and tricks. And if you want to learn more, follow me and you will get a lot of useful information. Mistake number 4. This mistake is one of my favorite because beginners like to start with this shiny, stretchy, beautiful fabrics like silk. I understand it, they're really very beautiful, but it's hard to work with them if you don't know specific things about these materials. I advise you to start with simple materials like cotton. It can be also fleece like jeans. It can be like wool, something that is not stretchy and not moving like silk, not very thin like chiffon, something more stable, okay? And as soon as you feel confident with this fabric, you can go a level higher and start a little bit more difficult, because with these silky materials, stretchy, you can get lost. You need different types of needles. You need to know the small tips and tricks how to work with them, and it's not like super hard, but still you need to know some things. So please don't start with these materials, okay? Start with cotton and something like that. Mistake number 5. It's similar to the previous one. Choose wrong fabric for the project. What I mean is, so you chose the pattern that you like this design, but you don't know what fabric to choose, and you choose something that was not in instruction. As I told you, you have to read the instruction because they tell you what fabric fits. And instead of jeans material, you choose like stretchy something, and most likely it will be big, like if we talk about jersey or something like that. Or it was stretchy in the design and you choose like cotton, then this model will be small. Like, I know it's hard to understand what type of material you need, even if you read, sometimes you don't know these words, what are this fabric, I have no idea. So what I advise you to do, take a picture of this pattern, go to the fabric store, show this to people who work there and say, I want to make this, what kind of fabric I can use, and they will help you. Like in the fabric store where I go, they're super friendly and always give me nice advice. They will show you all the options that fits. So it also will look a little bit different, sometimes a lot different, when you use wrong fabric that do not match this design. So try to read instruction, and if you don't know, ask people in the fabric store what fabric will fit this design, and they will give you really good advice. By the way, I have 2 free sewing workshops. The links are also in description, trousers and the dress. And it's from the beginning till the end, step by step, very detailed for beginners, everything how you like it. Follow these workshops and you will learn a lot of useful information. Mistake number 6. I actually wouldn't call it a mistake. It's like an advice, I would say. I do not recommend you to buy expensive sewing machine and a lot of things for sewing. I mean, like steam generator or like overlock machine, if you're a very beginner and you don't know yet do you like it or how far it will go. So I have a sewing school in Rotterdam, and all machines that I use are very basic. First of all, because I want people to learn how to use them, because I do not expect beginners to spend like 500 euro on a machine. Like, if you know how to use basic machine, you will easily use the more expensive because it's easier. So I bought all my machines like in a second hand, and I spent 50 euros maximum for every machine, and they work like already for 2 years without any problem. So I do recommend you invest in something not expensive, because you will be like disappointed if you spend like 500 euro and then you don't like this anymore, and you need to, I don't know what you're going to do. You're going to give it to your friends, so you will sell it, but it's still your time, you know. So start with something simple, and if you feel like I love it, of course invest money, but like not second day after you went to introduction lesson, you know. So I recommend you to start with something simple and then go further. Mistake number 7, do not use iron. So we have to press seam allowances every time we make them. It will help us to make very nice result. Do not skip this part, because I can give you an example. For example, I give an introduction lesson. People never sewed in their life. They just made something and they are so impressed with the result, like all of them, because we use iron. Even if the stitches are not straight and something goes wrong, ironing hides all these things. So if you want your results look good and nice and clean, use ironing. And when I work, by the way, my iron is always on, even if it's like 8 hours, it's on like for 8 hours, because I use it like every 2 minutes. Every stitch I make, I press it. Mistake number 8. So this was inspired by one person I met recently. This mistake is to learn pattern making just right after you learn the basic of sewing. So this girl I met, she said, yeah, I like sewing. I think that I want to work in this kind of field. I went to some courses, but now I'm learning pattern making and I feel like it's like I don't have motivation. I have to push myself to go to these lessons and to do this homework. And like I understand, because I learned pattern making also myself. It's like it's another field, it's another profession, and it's huge. If you think that it's like 2 hours of learning, no, it's huge. And a lot of people think that using patterns that you buy, it's not that cool. You want to make it fit perfectly, and you can do this with patterns if you know how to change the clothes a little bit. But it's perfect that you want to learn pattern making, but not when you just started and made 3 dresses and then you're like, oh yes, this is my next step. No, this is after you made like minimum like 30 pieces, and after that maybe you can go to pattern making. It's huge field and it takes hours to learn that, and just focus on now on learning how to sew, and when you feel you know a lot, you will go to the pattern making. And the last mistake, number 9. Okay, a lot of people are too hard on themselves, like really, because I think 80% people come to the lessons and they're like, oh, I'm so bad, oh, this stitch looks so bad, like I'm so silly. Guys, don't tell this. Like, you are beginners, this is normal that your stitches are not straight because you started like 10 minutes ago. Just that's normal. You're going to destroy some things. You will invest money in your fabric and at the end it will look shitty. Expect that, that's going to happen. But this is learning process. Next time you're like, okay, I made this mistake and I'm not going to do this again. And you improve this way, you know? So do not criticize yourself so too much. You make mistakes, and some people learn fast, some people are slowly, but it doesn't mean it's bad, it's just different. Yeah, you may be slowly, but if you learn something, it's stuck on your head and you never do this again. You know, but some people are fast and they forget and they make these mistakes like 5 times. So it's different, but that's normal, we're all different. Just, yeah, if you like it, just keep learning slowly, step by step. And do not compare yourself with people who, like, I have to say I do this too, but not with, okay, also with sewing, because I'm still learning some things, but in different fields. You look at people who like have businesses like for 10-20 years and I compare myself with them, having business for 2 years. Guys, you know, we don't have to do this. Like, we are here, we are here now, we want to learn, we just learn, we enjoy the process and try to avoid mistakes or learn from the mistakes, and it will be fine. Just don't go too hard on yourself, okay? Try to enjoy the process and be proud of yourself and your results. And I think I just came up with this idea that it's going to be 10 mistakes. The last one is do not practice. I think actually it's the most important one, because you're like, yeah, I want to learn that. Yes, I want to do this course and I know how to do this, but I feel like I'm going to destroy it, and you're afraid to start because you're afraid to make this mistake. And like, I've heard this so many times from people, guys, the only way to learn is to practice. Destroy this, like, make this ugly dress, but do something. Practice is our everything. Do not practice, this is like, you will never learn anything. Just do something, learn, ask questions, Google it, go to YouTube and watch some videos. Everybody has this, but being afraid of being not perfect, that's horrible mistake. You will not get anywhere. Just practice. Practice is our everything. This is the end of the video. I hope you were a bit inspired by this, and I wish you very cool sewing projects. I hope with this video you will save some money, time, and you will have a bit more motivation. And I can't wait to see your cool projects and see how far you get with your skills. I wish you very nice day.